Education remains the most powerful weapon we have to break the circle of poverty. These powerful words from former Nigerian President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan reminds us that the future of any nation is shaped by the quality of mind it nurtures. Welcome to Edu Dialogue on Voice of the People Television, the program where we unpack the issues, challenges, and opportunities shaping Nigeria's education landscape. I'm Matthew Ogunswada. Today on the program, we will be examining two important conversations shaping personal and national development. First, we take a deep dive into the implementation and challenges of virtual learning as the federal government unveils the Inspire Lives online classes, an initiative designed to expand access to education across the country. Later on the program, we shift our focus to balancing emotional intelligence and the quest for personal development. But first, let's begin with our first conversation of the day. The Federal Ministry of Education has launched the Inspire Life Online Real-Time Classes Initiative, a nationwide digital learning program aimed at expanding access to quality education for school children across Nigeria. This program, part of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, is designed to tackle long-standing challenges in the education sector, including teacher shortages and learning disruptions. Education Minister Tunji Alausa confirmed that full implementation has begun, covering all classes from Primary 1 to Senior Secondary School 3. Currently, junior and senior secondary school students can access live interactive lessons from Mondays to Friday from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., delivered by certified master teachers via Cisco WebEx. Junior secondary school students will study subjects such as mathematics, English, basic science, ICT, civic education, and agricultural science, while senior secondary students will cover biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, economics, technical drawing, and more. Now, joining me to unpack this conversation is Sarah Nystrom, an award-winning author, a licensed mind trainer, certified global coach, and the creator of Communication Queen Mentorship Program. And also joining me virtually, I have Godsent Ugbebo, an education rights activist and lecturer, joining me from Abuja. Sarah, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, let me start. How do you feel being on the program today?
Oh, it's such an honor for me to be here. You know, I have the deepest respect for Nigeria. I call it the land of opportunity. And every time I'm here, I feel blessed with all the opportunities coming my way. And I do all that I can to learn more about your culture, understand better, and communicate better, because I am also the communication expert. So I say ekaso to all our viewers today.
Beautiful. Ekaso to you as well.
Ekaso.
All right, so we are looking at the federal government, the implementation and the challenges that is associated with virtual learning. And now the federal government has launched the Inspire Life online classes. So I want to first of all tell us, what is your general assessment of online classes as a tool for teaching students across Nigeria and in the world?
That's a great question, Matthew, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity to expand access to education. That's the first thing I want to say. It's in line with what the opportunities we have out there today with modern technology. It's important to make use of it, and this will also help students to get access to education anytime from anywhere. So I think it's a very important way to expand and complement the existing way of education today.
Okay, so are there vague ways of education that you feel that online teaching would help out?
Of course, very much so. There are a lot of advantages with online classes, like I just said, that it is flexible. Flexibility is key here. You have a lot of rural areas, right? So that accessibility will really be heightened with use of online classes, right?
Yeah. So you're talking about flexibility, and I want you to actually dissect it very well, especially as it relates to internet access. First of all, this mode of learning would also reach both rural, semi-urban areas, and of course urban areas. So how effective do you think these online classes would reach students both in rural areas, semi-urban areas, and then urban areas?
Well, I think the success will deeply depend on the availability of infrastructure, electricity, internet, and devices. So for it to be successful, there needs to be collaboration and support
Between who and who?
between, for instance, the government and telecom companies and the schools.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's really, really important for it to be successful. It's easy just to say, yeah, we're going to have online education. We're going to have this, and it's modern, it's good, but it needs to be supported from all directions to be successful. That's how I
Beautiful.
think.
So we were talking about collaboration between both telecom companies and of
Yes.
course the government. And talking about this collaboration, how do you think this collaboration would help students? What measures do you think can be taken to ensure that students without reliable internet access or digital services are not left behind? When you talk about this collaboration, so what measure do you think can be taken such that students without internet services or without internet access are not left behind in this virtual training?
Well, the key would be this collaboration so that the telecom companies and the government would help give access to what they don't have. Because they cannot do, that's a fact, right? They cannot do online classes without access to internet. They cannot do online training without access to devices, right? That is key. That is like, how is that possible even, right? So I would say it's really, really important to have that collaboration in place. What do you think, Matthew? I don't think there is any other way, right? I mean,
Yeah, such that you're trying to tell us that isolation is not the key, but there has to be like collaboration between both the telecom companies and both the government in order to ensure equitable and sustainable education in the country.
yes. I believe there are no limits. If there is the willpower, if you want to achieve something, you can make it happen. You just have to be smart about it. And I don't think that it should be thrown in quickly and just do it. It has to be supported. The teachers also need to get training. This is not only about technology.
Yeah.
The teachers need to get supported because giving online classes, and I believe we're going to get there in a while, Matthew, giving online classes, which is something that I do extensively myself, is very different from doing it in person. So we cannot take a teacher and let them just do what they do. They need to be supported to do it in a good way.
So you are saying that teachers need to be supported and provided adequate training.
Very much so.
I
So
think I'll come
they can. I'm sure you have so many excellent teachers out there, and it would be such a pity to, you want to enhance their teaching skills. You want to enhance what they have to give, but it needs to be done in a proper way when done online.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that contribution. I think I'll come back to you in a moment. Good afternoon, God Sent, and thank you so much for joining me on Edu Dialogue on Voice of the People Television. You can please unmute yourself, God Sent. Thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Good afternoon, Matthew. Thank you for having me.
All right. So we are looking at the impacts and the challenges of online and virtual training and virtual teaching as the federal government launches the Inspire Live online classes. I want you to tell us the main challenges that teachers face in delivering lessons through virtual platforms, and how can this be supported? Because I know, of course, you're a lecturer in Abuja, and of course, you make use of the virtual platform to teach.
Okay, yeah. So, talking about how teachers or lecturers per se, how they would now need to understand these nitty-gritties that concerns distance learning is that, sometimes these things comes beyond qualification, right? It's not just about your qualification. It's not about if you are maybe an MSc holder or a PhD holder. So it goes that you now need to, as a lecturer or as a teacher, you then need to understand what digital means in this particular aspect, because this is like education gliding into the digital space. So if you're not conversant with using slides, or you're not conversant in using let's say several platforms that can facilitate video lectures, you would be stranded in that sojourn. So as a lecturer or as a teacher, you need to be aware. So unawareness in that aspect would make you void of wisdom and knowledge. So when you are not aware, to bring you to the plane that you can now understand how to facilitate these things, because it's not just about your qualification, it's about how well can you navigate through the digital space? How well can you now understand that, okay, how am I going to use this video platform? How would I navigate through this video platform? So when you now understand these things, it will get you ready and even prepared, so that when you start or as you begin, you would now be able to, just facilitate the thing through easily and faster. So I feel the challenges, sorry, I feel one of the major challenge that teachers or lecturers will face in this sojourn is the unawareness that they would have about the digital space to facilitate online learning.
So, talking about unawareness, how do you think they can now be better aware of this strategy? And then, how do you think that virtual classes can be designed to keep students engaged and ensure that they fully understand the lessons involved in virtual learning?
Okay, yeah, talking about how to become aware, because I've been faced with several situations like that, and one way to become aware is, we know, like the saying in Nigeria, the internet is your friend. So it's quite easy to learn and pick something from the internet because it's close to you. And then students are there waiting, and you are trying to share your screen before your lecture, or even before you were hired, or before the contract was given you. You should now be able to learn first using several other platforms that have this process on how to maybe share your screen, how to turn on your video, your audio, how to open the chat box, and all of that. So I feel you can self-learn these things through the digital space. Yes, through several platforms that have created, it could be courses in video format, it could be courses in written format, so that you just get yourself to the plane of awareness, and then you would just, squeeze out anything that makes you not to be aware of these things. And one way that we can make students to be engaged is, it's different from the traditional way of schooling, where you just get to school, get to the class, and teach, and the teacher or the lecturer just tell you certain things on the spot. But this time around, you are online, so you have to ensure that the interactiveness is active and interactiveness is prompt and swift, because you are not just talking, you are talking so that people would understand, because communication becomes useless when understanding is not gleaned, when understanding is not gained. So if it is that you are now indulging in online schooling or online study, it should be that the lecturer or the teacher should be able to carry the student along, because you know that you are not present in the traditional format on how education is being done. So you must be interactive. So now the way you put up your content matters a lot, because you know that the students are not seeing you physically, but they are seeing you virtually. So how can you now put up your content there? So the way you put out your content matters, and that is what will now drag and draw the students. It's just like a rope. It will keep drawing them and dragging them to that plane where they now feel among. Because once they feel among, I tell you, Mr. Matthew, that it becomes easy for understanding to begin. So you must be able to ensure that what you're doing is interactive. It's not rigid, it's flexible, because I feel there's no handbook that says you must do it like this, you must do it like that. Because one thing that you're trying to achieve is that you pass knowledge. Another thing you're trying to achieve is that people understand what you are doing. So you know what is best for you, and you put yourself in the shoes of those students. Okay, if I do it like this, would they be able to understand what I'm saying? Or if I should do it like this, would they be able to get what I'm saying? So when you put yourself in those scenarios, you can now be able to foster solutions to ensure that students are carried along, and the interactiveness is valid and swift.
All right, so Godson, you've talking about the role of teachers. You've talked about the role of teachers and educators in ensuring that virtual classes are well implemented and delivered. How do you think students, I want us to go into the role of students now. How can students manage distractions and then stay motivated during online learning sessions?
Okay, yeah, so this is a very serious question, because how students can be able to ward off distractions, given that there's no cane per se, or there's no rod, and the lecturer is not even present with you in your house. Yeah. So one of the several ways is self-discipline, because you are putting money into this, and time is a revealer, and if wasted, it is difficult to ascertain back. Do you understand? So you don't have to be disciplined enough to now ensure that, okay, this thing I'm doing, I'm putting. See, a lot of things go into this whole scenario. One, your time. You're investing time in it, and whatever thing you invest, there's something called ROI. So the return on investment must be seen. If you are wise enough as a student, you're not okay. I don't want to waste my time on this path. So what I would do now is to be reasonable enough to sit myself down and ensure that if the live lecture is going on, I partake of it till it's done. Because the thing is, if it's for 1 hour, you have several other hours to be distracted. So give that 1 hour so that you can be attentive to what will be done there. Then apart from self-discipline, another thing is apart from the sacrifice of time, there's also the sacrifice of paying attention. Now I'm giving attention to this thing. You will surely get something in return, either a certificate or a best in this, best in that, and all of that. So those things comes in, but they can only come in when you try to ward off distractions. One, you are paying school fees. Do you want it to go to waste? Because when you fail, it will go to waste. You may actually now need to maybe pay again or re-register the course when the student fails it. So you have to be, you have to know that failure is around the corner if you are not sensitive
Very, very
to
disciplined and sensitive towards virtual
serious.
learning.
Yes, you have to be sensitive to being serious because failure is around the corner. Money is going to be wasted. Your time, you won't see any return on investment. So that's how to self-discipline. Self-discipline is the watchword.
Thank you so much, Godsent. And before I let you go, I will just ask you, how do you think that online classes, how do you think it would complement traditional classroom teaching in the long term?
Okay. This is not like, in journalism where we say soon the digital media, will just eradicate traditional newspaper.
Which is still actually in function now. Because a lot of time we say when the digital media comes, it's going to take away traditional media, and then you will not see newspaper, everything will be online. Till today, people still read newspaper. Till today, people still watch television. A lot of myths and misconception back then in journalism that when radio comes, it will take away this. When TV come online now, people will stop watching the traditional TV. But I tell you today, people still watch traditional TV. So that's why I'm asking, how do you think online classes would complement traditional classroom teaching in the long term?
Yeah. I'll get to that now. So in the long term, how it would complement traditional teaching is that it makes learning easier. So it complements learning because in the traditional way of studying, one of the aim is to learn, and another in the long term is to get a certificate or any degree. So if the distant learning is established, what it actually now facilitates is that one can be able to learn. So it complements that. Okay, the traditional way is that you have to brush your teeth, you have to wake up early, you have to prepare for class 7 a.m., you are going out there. So now there's this easy way to do things that you don't have to now hit the road or keep the ground running. So you have to just set up your internet space and all of that things to ensure that you can facilitate the online learning. So it complements it in the sense that you are going to learn. So whether it's the traditional or the online, you will learn. Whether it's the traditional or the online,
that's what you're saying.
Yes, so it complements it in that way. So it becomes easy to actually now facilitate education. Education becomes easy, and to earn a degree. Not that to earn a degree becomes easy because it's online, but it just complements it in that if you are busy, you can actually now still have time to study. So that's the
Thank you so much, Godsent. Thank you so much. In the sense that education is made easy and flexible. Let me come to you, Sarah. What role do you think parents, teachers, and school administration would play in making virtual learning successful? What is the role of the parents? What is the role of the teacher? And what is the role of school administration? And of course, Federal Ministry of Education, the Global Ministry of Education, and policymakers in making virtual learning successful?
That's a great question. I think the most important thing is open. The key word here is openness. Openness, second, willingness. And not thinking that this is just the same as doing it live. It's not. There has to be an openness to learn, a willingness to learn, understand that it presents different set of advantages and a different set of challenges. Because if they think that, oh, this is the same, we just move the classroom to the computer, is not. I think it's very important. Like the teachers, for example, need to think about their energy. I think they need about the body language. There's so many things they need to think about. And the teacher and the parents, and on their end, they need to be open to this. They need to encourage their children, support them, because it is a change. And any change we need support with, to embrace it, to adapt to it.
The policymaker, the role of policymakers, school administrations. The role of policymakers.
The role of policymakers is to embrace this amazing opportunity, but also knowing that they at the same time need to support. They need to support the teachers with trainings and any support, and also fair remuneration to motivate them to do this. And I was also thinking when I was listening to, there could be hubs. In the rural areas, there could be hubs. So everybody doesn't have to have their own computer. We can do it in classroom. We can do online at certain hours. They can gather and do the online. So that's something that they could provide, right? Yeah, there are many things that they can
Beautiful
can do.
initiative. As the federal government launches the Inspire Learning online classes. That is a very beautiful one. And of course, we look forward to digital education and digital infrastructure in Nigeria as Nigeria moves forward. You want to add a point?
Yeah, one thing I was thinking also that we do, I offer a lot in my online trainings. You can actually offer downloadable classes. So once it has been done, it's recorded. So then it can be downloaded and shared. So even if you don't have access to internet, you can watch it after recorded, right? Another thing I wanted to say also, I'm very passionate about the online training because it's something I do myself. So camera is key. I know sometimes the bandwidth does not allow it, but whenever bandwidth allows it, it's really important to turn the camera on because that way the teacher can actually see the students and read the student. How is the energy level in the classroom? We're tapping into one of the challenges with online trainings. That is to read the classroom. If you cannot read it, and to adapt your communication to it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your contribution regarding the subject matter. You're still watching Edu Dialogue on Voice of the People Television. We'll take a quick break now, and when we return, we'll go into the second conversation of the day. Do join us again.
Years ago, we lit the spark. Today, we are blazing the trail for others to follow. VOP Media is 3. 3 years of breaking boundaries. 3 years of being that bold voice that echoes the thoughts of the people. 3 years of telling stories that matter.
We have experienced complete breakdown in democratic governance.
We are not just a brand, we are a movement, giving voice to the voiceless.
We go to bed empty hunger.
To every viewer, every voice, and everyone that has made us who we are, we say thank you. VOP Media, 3 years and still counting. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where power shapes with every headline.
In a nation full of questions.
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
On Edu Dialogue, we bring you fresh ideas and conversations shaping the future of learning in Nigeria and beyond.
Voice of the people. You can hear me now. My name is Patrick Doyle, and I wish that you continue to echo the voices of the people. Big up VOP TV.
My name is Suibifa Dokubo. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Kwekumali Ikenna Onyekwena, and I am with the Voice of the People TV. Now, if you're looking for the veritable channel for information, politics, robust discussions, you don't need to go far. VOP has you. VOP will always have you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patrick Diabwa, aka Ibani Chuka, Amayanabo the Eagle King, and you are watching VOP TV. Stay with us.
Glad to have you back on the program. In a world where self-growth has become a constant pursuit, emotional intelligence remains one of the most essential and often overlooked skills needed to navigate life's challenges. While many people focus on achieving goals, building careers, and improving productivity, the ability to understand, manage, and express emotion plays a central role in sustaining long-term personal development. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, approximately 332 million people worldwide have depression. This number reflects a global prevalence of about 4% of the population, with women being disproportionately affected compared to men. Now let's dive into the strategies that will help individuals build inner strength, overcome barriers, and achieve personal transformation without losing emotional balance. And of course, I still have with me Sarah Nystrom, an award-winning author, a licensed mind trainer, certified global coach, and the creator of Communication Queen Mentorship Program. And virtually, I also have Godsent Ugbebo, human rights activist, and of course, lecturer, who joins me from Abuja. Let me start with you, Sarah. In your own term, what do you think emotional intelligence is, and why is it important for personal development?
So emotional intelligence is basically, for those who are not really sure about the definition, I would say it's the way to understand your own emotions and express them. That is a simple, very simple definition of it. And also understand the emotions of other people and be able to adapt to that. That is what is, that is really what it's about. And this is why it's central to personal development and also to communication.
Understanding other people's emotion, and which you of course mentioned now, meaning that you shouldn't put yourself into consideration alone. You should also put other people around you into consideration.
Yes.
And I want you to tell us practically. Many people chase growth but struggle emotionally. So why do you think emotional intelligence is often ignored in personal journey? And why do we need to be personally aware?
Because most human beings, we want quick results. We're chasing the results. But we miss that we need to understand. To reach results, we need to go deeper. We need to begin within. That's the way I see it. All success starts within and is connected to our heart and to our emotions. And there goes emotional intelligence. So I would say it becomes very superficial without that connection. And because we want quick results, we many times miss this because we're not aware of it. We're not aware of what that's needed. We just want to have the quick fix, and then we miss the whole depth and the beauty of the personal growth.
So talking about self-awareness, which you of course mentioned now, how do you think self-awareness influences the choices we make in our personal development process? Self-awareness.
Self-awareness is really the compass to growth, I'd say. It tells us, to each individual, what we should focus on and we should avoid. Each person, we are all on a journey in life, and it's different to every person. So we need to understand where are my needs, because we cannot compare one person with another. There may be one person that has certain needs in certain areas and another person in other areas. So self-awareness is key to understand, where do I need to grow? Where do I need to evolve myself and become, a better person so I can reach my highest potential?
So do you now think that somebody can truly grow if they are emotionally unstable or unaware of their emotional triggers? What should they do when you are emotionally unstable? For example, when things are not working out, do you think you can truly grow? What should
there
you do?
There are plenty of things.
Have you been in that situation?
That can be done. Of course I have. I'm a human being. And as I always say, life is a journey. Just because I work with helping other people to grow as persons through my books and through my programs, it doesn't mean for a second that I'm not a human being. I'm on the journey myself. Even teachers, even trainers, we are all humans, right? And we will grow every day until we die, if we want to, if we're open to it. Some people are not open to growth, so they stay where they are. Well, they will grow. They will grow too, but being willing to grow and being humble on this journey means that we will keep growing throughout our lives. Yeah.
Humble. We should keep going.
Yeah, and not think that I'm done. There is no such a thing. Not even Dalai Lama, bless him, is done. Everybody needs, can learn every single day. And I also say we can learn from every person we meet. I believe there is a meaning with every encounter, and be it I thank those that present challenges in my life because they are my best teachers, right? So the attitude is really to stay open and have that attitude that we can learn from everything is important. And Matthew, if you ask for concrete, you wanted me, are we going to get to that later? The concrete tips on what they can do here and now? You want me
in
to
navigating emotional challenges, how do you think we can balance it? And you as an individual, have there been practical ways you've been able to overcome
Yes, I have
emotional
plenty of them. I will offer you some here. So journaling is a very, very good way. So every night, every morning too, I do that myself. I write down, how do I feel? Why do I feel? Check in with yourself regularly as a way of building a habit and becoming aware of how we feel and why we feel like we do. And if we want to work on our inner climate, we can write things we are grateful, right? Make a habit, write every day 3 things you are grateful for. Gratitude is a really, really very powerful thing that should not be ignored. And then specifically for the women, a lot of women, we struggle with, well, men too, but women in particular struggle with self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. So write down 3 things every day that you appreciate with yourself. So these are the ways you can shift your inner climate and connect with yourself and understand why you are unique, why you are special, because sometimes we don't think, and I might be sidestepping now, but it all has to do with our inner climate, I think. And another
Writing
thing
down
is
what you are grateful for every day.
writing down what you're
That
grateful
is
for
very
every day,
pivotal.
and also write down where am I, how do I feel today? Because many times we suppress how we feel. We don't have time for our own feelings. And emotional intelligence is that, is being in touch with your emotions. And how am I in touch with our emotions? I can write. Right? Take a moment, take 5 minutes every evening, and if you want in the morning too, and make it a habit, right? How do I feel? Why do I feel like this? And then let go of that, but just acknowledge. We don't have to judge how we feel, but acknowledge how we feel. That's how we begin to be in touch with our heart. And then we can move towards, if we want to write a bit, if we have more time, to write a little bit about what we are grateful for and what we appreciate with ourselves.
Beautiful.
Another thing I would say is breathing. Our breathing is very connected to our emotional well-being or not well-being, lack of well-being. When we breathe calmly, most of us breathe shallowly. We are stressed. Our bodies and our mind are very connected in our hearts. But when we breathe slowly, we calm down, we can actually not feel stressed. So I wanna teach a technique that is called the 5-5-5 technique. Very simple.
Please go ahead.
Breathe in 5 seconds
Okay.
through your nose. You keep
I'm
it
breathing in.
Yeah, you keep it there 5 seconds. And then you breathe out slowly through your mouth 5 seconds.
I think we should do that again.
You do
for
that
our
at least
viewers.
5 times. Breathe in through your nose. You can do it with us. Breathe in.
Okay.
If you're in traffic right now, no, you're not because you're watching TV. I hope you're not in traffic. But when you're watching this, breathe in 5 times, count to 5. Keep it there, count to 5, and breathe out 5. How do you feel?
I think I feel a little bit relieved.
Exactly. You do that at least 5 times. You can do it as many times as possible, as you feel good, and that will calm you down. Because when we calm down, we can connect with our heart space. And I have so many things. I'm going to do a lot. We're going to probably speak to God. But I just want to say also something I used to do with my son. My son is becoming a teenager, so we're not doing it at the moment. But when he was younger, we used to do this. We actually used to dance for a while in the morning. And that sounds maybe, why would you do that? Because we have energy in our heart space. And that energy comes out when we communicate to others. So we can actually decide, what will I give to the world? Will I give negative energy to the world? Will I give positive energy to the world? And we can work on that energy within.
So dancing also helps emotional intelligence.
Nourish it, protect it. Exactly, it does. So dancing actually is not just this is funny or, it's actually proven that there is someone called Tony Robbins, is a big motivational speaker in the West and from the USA. So he says, motion creates emotion. That's from Tony Robbins. Motion creates emotion. So when we actually move our bodies, things happen physically. Things happen, and we feel happier. We feel happier.
Motion creates emotion. Beautiful.
So dance for a while in the morning. That's also a way to stabilize your energy, make it more positive, help you let go, because sometimes we get stuck in negative situations.
Yeah.
So journaling, breathing, and dancing are very,
Journaling,
very
breathing and
practical.
dancing. I think
Very
I
practical
can
tips.
actually dance. Why not?
Start
There
your
is a
day.
governor in
And this
Nigeria
is-
that loves dancing. There is a governor in Nigeria. So I just want to tell us, are there initiatives, are there programs, collaborations that you're into for now?
Well,
for
I
personal
have my
development?
own, if I may. I have my book, From Freelancing to Speaking Like a Queen, and in here I talk a lot about all these things and also the program I'm running. So yes, it can be found in Roving Heights bookstore in Nigeria. It can be found on Amazon, and and I'm now also collaborating with NAPS Nigeria. So we are looking at actually taking all of this to the girl child. Support the girl child. And
Beautiful.
emotional intelligence is part of that that journey. Emotional intelligence is a foundation for success in our lives, I'd say.
Emotional intelligence is the foundation for success.
Yes, it is.
in
Because
life.
it's such a big part of communication.
Beautiful.
And we
Let me
cannot-
come to you, God Sent. What daily habit do you think we should adapt to for personal development? And for somebody that is starting their journey, what would you say is the first step to developing both emotional intelligence and personal growth in a balanced way?
Sorry, can you reiterate? the
Okay,
next
I
one?
was saying that, Sarah has actually talked a lot to us
Yeah.
about emotional intelligence. And I was asking that for somebody that is just starting their journey, what would you say is the step that they should take to develop both emotional intelligence and personal growth in a balanced way? And what should they adopt to build emotional intelligence?
Okay. Thank you for that question, Matthew. So, the first step I would say is to develop self-awareness, just like the guests in the studio have been, hammering on, because it goes a long way when you are self-aware. Because now we should first of all then understand that this emotional intelligence refers to the ability to recognize, understand, and manage, and also influence our own emotions. So it's not just about understanding others, understanding the emotions of others. It's about now firstly understanding yours, because as well as understanding the emotions of others, it goes far when you understand your own emotions, because it is crucial for personal development. Because in that end, it now helps individuals to build relationships. It helps to make better decisions. It helps to manage stress more effectively. So people with high EQ, people with high emotional intelligence can adapt to change and work more effectively in teams and whatnot. So the first step, like I said, is to be self-aware. So when you're self-aware, and then you begin by identifying and understanding your emotional triggers and responses. So if it is that when you're talking and then someone just talks in and you're not done talking and you feel that, okay, that's your emotional trigger, you should now be aware of it and deal with it. Yes.
So how
you
do we
have to deal with
navigate
it.
that in the
So that
workplace
going forward?
or in the family?
Yeah. So how you navigate that practically in a workplace or in your family or anywhere you find yourself is to do that exercise that the guest said.
Yeah, the
So I
dancing
think
exercise.
it's-
Is it the dancing or the
Yes.
breathing? Because she gave us a lot of exercise. So is it the dancing or the breathing?
Yeah. The breathing, most
Okay.
especially, because at that point you can't dance, you
Yeah, at the
just
point where
have to do
people
something
triggers you in the office, you can't dance. So the best is just to breathe. Take a breathe in, breathe out when you are angry in the
To
office
breathe, yes,
or
yes.
in the workspace.
Yeah, so exactly. So you calm your nerves, you calm everything down, and so this can be achieved through also self-reflection. So when you're breathing, you're having this reflection within you that, okay, should I react? Should I calm down? And
Yeah.
when you breathe in, it gives you this relaxation, and before you know it, you reflect on better things, and then you relax. And when you're breathing, another thing that you delve into like swiftly is meditation. You just meditate, okay, control yourself, and then somehow you see yourself being able to manage that situation at the workplace or whatever toxic
Yeah.
environment or whatnot that you are in. And to just round off this thing that I'm saying, so once you are self-aware, once you're aware of your emotional patterns, you can now work on regulating your emotions. So when you're aware, you deal with it, you regulate it, and then you see better versions of you. So another thing that we must also intelligence and building a solid foundation for both personal growth and emotional intelligence. So all these things comes in sync. These are the steps. So you have to be self-aware. When you're self-aware, you have to now understand that thing that you're aware of. And when you understand it, you have to now be able to deal with it. When you deal with it, you welcome yourself to the plane where you now have total control of this thing. So emotional intelligence would now be 100/100.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, God Saints. Beautiful contribution. Sarah, do you have any final words to our viewers about emotional intelligence and balancing it with personal development?
I'm so happy you asked, because I'm bursting. This is my favorite topic, right? Being a communication expert, as I said, emotional intelligence is really, really important to that. So when we talk about emotional intelligence, I talked a lot about what we can do ourselves to reach our heart space and to connect with our emotions, right? And to nourish and protect our own energy and to be in touch with our emotions. But there is also another part. We talked about other people's emotions, right? We talked about understanding other people's emotions. So when it comes to emotional intelligence, we also need to, in a second step, learn to adapt our communication to those that we have around us. So the biggest mistake that we actually do in communication related to emotional intelligence is that we think everybody else thinks like we do. So I think most of us has thought at one time or another that they're so stupid. They don't understand. We think that we get frustrated because people do not understand or they don't seem to understand what we are saying. But we all have different personalities, upbringing, cultures, habits, and all of that gives us a set of values that make us think and function in different ways. So it's like we walk around with different type of glasses. Some people have blue glasses, other people have red, green, yellow. And when we meet, there are constantly clashes of misunderstanding because the red person, the blue person, and I write about this in my book too, we speak in completely different ways. Some people are talkative, like myself, with lots of energy. Other people are analytical and more fact-based. So when these type of personalities meet, there can be misunderstandings and frustration. But when you learn and you accept that we all function differently, and you see that that person is, you get self-awareness. I know in my case that I'm talkative, I'm bubbly, I have a lot of energy, and that can be really useful in many situations.
Thank you.
But when I meet a person who is analytical and functions differently, I do my best. I may not always succeed, but I do my best to adapt to that type of energy so that that person will not feel overwhelmed.
Beautiful.
That's adaptation, and that's also emotional intelligence.
I really want to appreciate you, Sarah Nystrom, an award-winning author, licensed mind trainer, certified global coach, and the creator of Communication Queen Mentorship Program, aka Chief Omobowale.
Thank you so much.
God Sent Ogbebo, education rights activist, lecturer at Abuja. Thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Matthew.
And I look forward to having you some other time.
Certainly.
All right, you're still watching Edu Dialogue on Voice of the People Television. We'll take another quick break now and return with top stories in Nigeria's education sector. Please stay tuned.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeat, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Join Moses, Chukuma, and Fina on Voice of the People TM. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
Join us on People's Voice, where we amplify the voice of those that matters the most. Join the conversation. Share your thoughts with me. I am Xavier Udo. Weekdays, Monday through Friday, from 4 p.m. to 5. Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns. Thank you.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here is to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arararara, my name is Made Kuti and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Glad to have you back on the program. The Lagos State University, LASU, has matriculated 14,893 new students for the 2025-2026 academic session. At the ceremony, Vice-Chancellor Professor Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello congratulated the freshers, urging them to uphold discipline, excellence, and integrity. She noted that out of more than 70,000 applicants, only 14,893 gained admission, highlighting the highly competitive process. The VC described LASU as a world-class student-centered institution and the best university in West Africa, according to the latest UI Green Matrix ranking. Professor Olatunji Bello further stressed LASU's zero tolerance for cultism, exam malpractice, corruption, hooliganism, and gender-based violence, warning that offenders will face strict disciplinary action. The federal government has launched the renewed Hope Campus Transport Scheme with the rollout of 240 electric tricycles across 12 federal universities nationwide. At the flag-off event in Unilag, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, said the scheme will make student transportation safer, cheaper, and fully powered by clean energy. He noted that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu remains deeply committed to improving student welfare and funding education. Under the first phase, 20 solar-powered electric tricycles and solar charging stations have been deployed to each of the 12 selected universities in Southwest, Southeast, South-South, North Central, Northeast, and Northwest. Dr. Alausa said the scheme reflects a focus on safe, sustainable, and student-centered transport services across Nigerian universities. The Faculty of Communication and Media Studies at the University of Lagos has unveiled a new public relations and advertising lab, generously donated by Tunde Thani, the CEO of Explicit Communications Limited. According to Lanre Adisa, the president of the Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria, the donation is a major step towards bringing real-world practice closer to students and nurturing them into ideas and skills that will make them leaders in the media industry. Meanwhile, Tunde Thani explained that the lab will help bridge the gap and better prepare students for the workforce, adding that the donation was inspired by his personal journey after graduation. The Dean of the Faculty, Professor Oloruntola Sunday, together with Adewale Williams, the President of the Unilag Mass Communication Alumni Association, praised the initiative and encouraged continued support from alumni and industry leaders. The unveiling ceremony was graced by distinguished guests, including representatives from the Advertising Regulatory Council of Nigeria, ACON, the Unilag Alumni Association Worldwide, the head of the Mass Communication Department, Dr. Tayo Pupola, as well as other faculty members. And that's it on today's edition of Edu Dialogue on Voice of the People Television. We've explored two critical conversations, the implementation and challenges of virtual learning as the Federal Ministry of Education rolls out the Inspire Live online real-time classes initiative to expand access to quality education across Nigeria, and the importance of balancing emotional intelligence in the quest for personal development, where we unpack strategies to build resilience, overcome barriers, and achieve growth without losing emotional balance. For more updates and engaging conversation, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV, and across all other social media platforms, we are as VOP TV Live. If you witness news happening here, you would love to hear from you, so share your eyewitness report, events coverage requests, photos or videos with us on WhatsApp at 0814-606-4057. You can also reach our newsroom directly via email at news@vop.ng. I'm Matthew Ogunswada. Join us again next week as we continue to spotlight the ideas, innovations, and conversation shaping Nigeria's education landscape. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and remember that education remains the most powerful weapon we have to break the cycle of poverty. Bye for now.